All righty, welcome back to the Discover Virginia Beach podcast, where we set out to highlight all there is to discover and what the Virginia Beach area has to offer for both tourists and locals alike. Today, we're joined by local restaurant owner, family man, YouTuber, chef, and entrepreneur. I mean, that's just a few of the many things. So go check out the link in the bio description below and welcome Aristotle Cleanthus. Aristotle.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Welcome.
What a pleasure.
Thank
you for your time.
Absolutely. I want to be sure to cover all of the amazing businesses and experience you provide here in the Pungo area. So let's jump right in, shall we?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So Aristotle, when it comes to Virginia Beach, there are a lot of great things to explore, do, and especially many avenues to grow a business. Walk us through your journey of entrepreneurship and exactly what principles you learned along the way that helped you grow the multiple experiences and businesses you created for yourself here in the Virginia Beach community.
So my story starts when I was 17 years old. I was raised by an entrepreneur, and my father gave me the mindset of working for yourself. He said, you could work for your own dream or you could work for someone else's. He kept it pretty simple for me. I wasn't really good advocate for school. Not that I'm against school. I just wasn't intrigued with it. It didn't inspire me. And that's why I never did very well with school. But I graduated high school, luckily, and I started my first business my senior year of high school. I got into the landscape business, and I went from cutting grass to doing installs and designs and irrigation and sod and concrete and tree work and fences and decks and anything outside we could really transform your space. But I had an opportunity to open a restaurant when I was 24 years old in the southern end of Virginia Beach, and I opened that with my brother. We ran that together for 9 years, and I separated from him a few years ago and started with Redhead Bay Cafe, which that really got some good momentum, and we were able to really do some special stuff, Redhead Bay Cafe. And we just got an opportunity this year, 4 years after Redhead was established, to buy Blackwater Trading Post, it's a convenience store, marina, gas station. We have a full service ice cream shop, full service kitchen for dinner, breakfast is grab and go, lunch is grab and go. But we're really just trying to give back to our community in the best way, where we can offer them quality, consistency, and service. So I think one thing that separates us from most businesses is we don't sell products, we sell service. And that's what allows us to grow exponentially, because when people come to our store, they feel welcome, they feel invited, they feel appreciated. And I think that adds a lot of value to their dollar, because people can spend their money anywhere. And I think that's one thing that's really separated me from other businesses, is that the customer service is first, but the quality is just as good.
Absolutely. Aristotle, thank you for that high level overview. I mean, what a testament to your character and the way you run your business. Like you said, it's about service. And although you didn't go through the traditional mold of what we typically see in our society, you still are able to, break through that barrier to have your own business, to be part of your community. And I want to highlight that part too, because this podcast was created because of people looking for more community here in the area. So I'd love to know from you, Aristotle, in your own words, what does community mean to you? And really, how has it shaped the way you run your business and raise a family here in the Virginia Beach area?
What community means to me is service. I mean, if I can serve my community in the best way, give them what they need, it benefits not only the community, but my family as well. And I think that's one thing that I try to stay focused on, regardless of how hard or how challenging the task was for me to create it. I wanted to be able to do it not only for me and my family in the future for us, but for the community, because we have very limited options out here. And I think that it's humbling that we are limited, because there's not a lot, but you still want to give them the best, right? So if we only have one option and we give them the best, we're going to capture all of the community, and we're going to really be able to encase that in our business plan, which is servicing the community, servicing the people, giving them what they want, and keeping it consistent. And I think that the number one thing is how you feel when you walk in the door. And they say that people spend money with people they like, and we create an environment that people feel comfortable in. And I think that's one thing that separates us from most businesses is when you walk in, you really feel the sense of commitment to service and asking how you're doing, how's it going, what could we do different, what could we change, is everybody performing on their level. And one thing that I've been able to do with me is separate separate the emotion from the business. So my business is ran with needs, not emotions. So I don't manage people, I manage things, and I lead people. And I think that's one difference that separates me as a leader and as an owner and as a boss. I don't even tell people I'm a boss because I think that's been so diluted over the years that I tell people I'm the janitor when they ask me what I'm doing, because for me, it's not about, it's not about the hierarchy. It's about the product, right? And what we want to do is keep delivering that product. We don't necessarily want recognition. We want to serve people and keep producing quality stuff. So one of the things, I was talking with my buddy Dave, he owns Dave's Barbecue, and he came in here. He's been supporting me unbelievably. What a blessing. He has a unbelievable barbecue shop up there towards the beach off Oceana. And he was just he was asking, with society and the last 3 years, employees have really, it's been a huge shift after COVID with just work ethic and commitment and reliability. And I think one thing that I'm able to do as a leader is perform in all those areas. And it allows my team to see that as well, which allows them to want to step up and perform, because I always tell my team that I want them to level up. I want everybody to level up, no matter, regardless if they stay with me or not. The goal is to level up in life, and where happiness comes from is from your heart. And I think a lot of people lose sight of that because they chase the dollar instead of the dream. And the dream is to be happy, right? And I think they dilute that when you're growing up through school and through college. And like you said earlier, you touched based on not normal. Like, I didn't do it the right way, right? Because they don't teach you that way in society anymore. They want to plug you into the system, and they want to steal the American dream. They'll give you a loan for college, but they won't give you a loan for your business. And I think that's really backwards for the American dream in society today. See, they plug you into this 90-hour, 50-hour a week work week, and everybody's working their tail off, and they can barely even enjoy what they have to pay for. But in my society, we enjoy our work because most of us spend most of our time working. So I always say, if you're not having fun, guess what? You're not having fun. It's pretty simple. We try to keep it simple, and I try to lead with positivity. I don't like drama or negativity. And that has came full circle because it's really helped us build a brand with great positive energy that people are attracted to. So I think my story is a little different than most people's, just because I started when I was young. I started my first business when I was 17. I'm 36 years old. I've been self-employed for 19 years. I've been able to create a lot, and I've been able to give back a lot to my community. My wife and I started a kids foundation. We ran that for 8 years. We gave back selflessly. We got a lot of kids involved in the outdoors. After COVID, it kind of killed our kids foundation, but we kept the momentum rolling, and we rolled it right into this gas station that we just bought, the convenience store restaurant. So the dream is to keep creating. And I think that's the American dream. And I think that you kind of lose that as you go through school. They kind of steal your dream almost. It's weird because they don't give you, that backbone that you are what it takes to create America's dream. And that's one thing that I want to share with people, is that you have self-worth and you have a dream, and those things are possible if you believe in yourself. The number one reason people don't succeed is because they believe someone else's negativity, and it steals their dream. So my goal is to inspire people to believe in themselves, to have a dream, to invest in assets, because that's what's going to allow you to grow and have something for your family. So that's what we've been really good about, is being conscious of investing in the business and investing in the brand, because your brand is huge. A lot of people don't want to invest in the brand. They don't want to invest in the image, but that's what creates the momentum. And if you can invest in the image and the brand, and then you have to deliver. So there's so many different steps that are involved. But if you don't have a good brand, nobody's going to show up. I always say nobody's coming to the party without an invitation. So if you don't have your stuff out there, if you're not portraying your brand and your business and pumping it up and really sharing your passion with people, then it's really not going to develop into anything exponential. And I think my exponential growth came from my passion of work. Okay, I work a lot. I worked 85 hours last week. I'm probably at 80 hours last week, 85 the week before. That's just because we're getting open a new business. Now, it's the sacrifice that allows me to invest in the team to be able to get time. So if I can implement systems and I can create these processes that people can stand by and take on themselves, then I can delegate my task. The number one way to grow is to be able to delegate your responsibilities every year so you can take on more responsibilities. And I think that's one thing people are scared of. They're scared of giving up the freedom of the books or the inventory or the ordering or whatever it may be in your business that you really streamline on now. You can oversee it and make sure that it's getting done correctly. But if you're not delegating the task out, then you're not growing. You're not allowing yourself to grow because you're taking on too much workload. And I think that's one thing that I've been good about, is being conscious of that, giving people opportunities, whether it works or not. That's okay, because you never know if you don't give them an opportunity. I think that's one thing my success has come from, is that I've been able to create a lot of opportunities for people, and I've been able to trust and invest in them, regardless if it worked out or not. It was still part of the process of growth.
Wow. What a lot of great insight, and truly some very interesting ideas here. Aristotle, I definitely want to unpack some of these things, because there are people in this audience that are in different stages of life, and I definitely want to highlight those and unpack some things with you. So you touched on this idea, and I'm you kind of slammed through my next question, which is great. But I'm still gonna preface it with, I want to figure out for our audience members who are in seasons of transition, how to go about making those transitions happen. I've had a lot of people I work with in the real estate sector thinking about starting a business, thinking about relocating, or just thinking about retiring. And it seems like the common theme with all those people is figuring out what their dream is that they're looking to obtain. And you hit the nail right on the head, but I'll still ask you again, what do you think are some of the one or two most essential things, most essential characteristics that are required for transition, but also with the caveat for the people that may be discouraged, or maybe, just tired, or just maybe not having that aspirational spirit anymore or yet? What would you say to those people to start to begin that transition into that mindset?
Yes. And you just said it. Mindset. I started training my brain when I was 17 years old. I read a book called The Magic of Thinking Big, and I wrote 3 things on my wall when I was 17. They're still there at my mom's house. But one of them was, what kind of world would this world be if everyone in it was just like me? At 17 years old, that was pretty powerful. And what that means is, are you the best version of yourself? And that's how I interpreted that saying. How can you add value to yourself and your team and the people around you? You do that with mindset. The second thing I wrote on my wall was, who are you when no one's looking? And that one teaches you integrity, because no matter what you do in life, when you go to bed at night, you know how you treated people, you know the decisions you made, you know how you handled whatever situation it was, if you treated them right, if you treated them wrong. And that is one way that I've been able to grow. I've been able to grow personally, because for me, it's not about how you treat me, it's about how I treat you, right? So if regardless of the relationship or the partnership or the vendors, whatever the relationship is, it's how you handle your situation, good or bad. And that's the second thing, was integrity. And the third thing that I wrote was, a wise man is a master of his mind, and a fool will be its slave. So if you're not in control of your thoughts and your actions, you are controlled by your mind. So what I've been able to do since I was a young teenager was understand that my mind is controlled by me, not my thoughts, right? We have 30,000, 50,000 thoughts a day. It's the ones that you give energy to that you manifest and grow into. And that's why I've been able to really focus on the positive stuff in my life. And I have an analogy, okay? You have 2 wolves on your shoulders, right? And this is an easy one to break down. So you have a good wolf and you have a bad wolf. And the one that survives is the one that you feed, right? So if you feed the good wolf, you're going to have good shit coming out. If you feed the bad wolf, it's going to be nothing but negative. And it's that simple. Like, I don't put my energy into things I can't control. One. Second is, I can control my mindset and how I react, right? So my reaction is going to be positive, not negative. I always react positive, because this is another great analogy I share with people. If I tell you that, let's say you just bought a brand new car, right? It's sitting out in the driveway. Let's say that's your dream. Your car is your dream, right? That's your dream car, but without any fuel, that car is going nowhere. It's just a dream, okay? So it doesn't matter how cool the dream is. It doesn't matter how great the dream is. If you don't fuel the dream, it's never going to go anywhere, okay? That's number one. And the second thing is, people steal people's dream because they aren't big enough to dream that big, right? And in my life, I've had a lot of negators, they call them, negative people that want to steal your dream. But I don't let those people bring me down because I don't make it real. I don't give it energy. And I think that's one thing people need to understand is that they are in control of their energy. They're in control of their aura. They're in control of the people around them. I read something a couple of years ago, changed my life. It says, what you don't change, you choose. And if you choose something every day that doesn't make you happy, you're the fault, not what you're choosing. And I think if you put yourself in that position where you become in charge, right, of your life and what you do with your time, then you get your time back. And I think a lot of people lose that. They're stuck in situations that don't make them happy. Okay. And one thing is that's never going to change unless you change it. And I think people lose sight of that. They feel like they're a victim to their life or a victim to the circumstance of where they are, but they can change that. But the problem is people don't like change because you don't grow in your comfort zone and nobody likes to go out of their comfort zone. My problem is I don't like to be in the comfort zone. I think that's where my growth has came from. And that's the story I want to share with other people. It's not easy. You know what I mean? I got here by grinding, but I enjoy it. There's a difference, right? I go home refueled. I go home happy. And then my home life is unbelievable as well. My she's a great part of my business. She's huge. She does all kinds of social media stuff and all the books and all this great stuff. But it's the total package. You got to have a great home life to be able to get refueled. You got to have a great work environment in order to enjoy it because it's not always easy. So there's different things in my life that I've been able to understand about growth that most people my age haven't. And that's only because I've been doing it for 19 years. I've been leading people. One thing I shared with Dave was you don't manage people, you manage things and you lead people. That's what people always ask me. You having a hard time with employees? No. You know why? Because I'm here leading them. I'm working my ass off so they can have support, right? I'm not just throwing them in there. It's your job. I'm the boss. Why aren't you doing that? I'm doing it. I'm working my ass off. You know what I mean? And I earn that respect from my team and it comes out with them. They work just as hard. And I think it's really humbling.
Aristotle, I really appreciate you unpacking that. So just to kind of summarize this as before we shift into our next segment, because I really want to talk about the restaurant too, for those people looking to visit. It seems like this principle and philosophy that's led you down this journey has really been highlighted by these what you call negators, trying to get you off this path, trying to get you to listen to the quote other wolf on the shoulder. And it sounds like what you're challenging people in a lot of ways, and also trying to do with your business is inspire those people to consider another mindset. And even if they're not in that place yet, it seems like your establishment gives the ability to highlight and reflect that. And being a good steward of that mindset. Yes. So I really appreciate you sharing that. And I want to let people know if they're not in that mindset yet, that's definitely okay. We want to be here to help create that conversation, to help you discover Virginia Beach and challenge you and encourage you in a lot of ways to check out those other mindsets as well.
So on the mindset thing, if you don't change your mindset, you don't change your outcome. It's that simple. People wonder why nothing's changing is because they don't change the way they think. They don't change the way they handle problems. They don't change the way they interact with people. They don't change the way they handle their business, right? And they wonder why nothing's changing. Well, if you don't change it, you won't change the outcome. So I think that's one thing that I've been really good about is really trying to mold my mindset. And it's really been beneficial on being in control. It helps with mental health. I mean, it helps with so many things that people don't even understand when it comes to life in general. Just being in control mentally is so huge. And I think that's one thing. It doesn't, you don't have to make $200,000 a year to be happy. You can make $60,000 a year and be happy. You know what I mean? It depends on what you're doing. If you're enjoying it, if you have refuelment at home. And I think those are different things that people just lose sight of.
Absolutely. Well, Aristotle, I definitely want to make sure we highlight your cafe. So let's go ahead and transition to Redhead Bay Cafe, located in Virginia. For our out-of-state guests, or maybe our tourists who aren't familiar, can you share what Pungo is? And then furthermore, break down the significance that the area has for you.
So Pungo is what's left of the original Princess Anne County. Princess Anne County was one of the first counties in Virginia. And we are on the southern end of Virginia Beach, which is a very rural area. We have lots of farmland, lots of crops, lots of horse stables. We have like a huge number of horses in Virginia Beach, which is crazy to think about. It's like 100,000 horses or something crazy. But what we have on the southern end is so personal compared to what we have on the northern end. I think it's really significant, the change of scenery. And what's cool about southern end is there's not a lot of businesses down here. A lot of this is they don't allow it. They don't allow commercial property. They don't allow developments. They haven't allowed all these things to grow and outgrow this community. And I think that's what makes it really special. Is it's beautiful out here. We're 20 minutes from town, we call it, uptown.
Right.
But we're in the rural area, man. You got tractors and you got trucks, and there's water everywhere, and there's farm everywhere. You're just hunting and fishing, and it's really the best of both worlds.
I love it. I love it. That is a true testament to Pungo. I'm personally from Texas area myself, so growing up in Texas and moving to Virginia was a bit of a culture shock for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Started in Portsmouth, Chesapeake area, but Pungo is in a lot of ways obviously very different from Texas, right? It's probably got way nicer weather, but it definitely is that last piece of what I would traditionally call country land.
Yes, sir.
So, Aristotle, can you walk us through a typical day for you at Redhead Bay Cafe, balancing a thriving restaurant and a family? And like you said, working, 65 to 80 hours a week can surely be, taxing and keep you on your toes. How do you navigate through the hustle and bustle of the restaurant and walk us through your day?
So I wake up about 5:30 every morning. My team, some of my team, like the gas station gets open. We have them here at 5:15. So I have a nice system set up. And I think systems are the most important part of delegating tasks. We talked about that earlier. So I give people opportunities to give them a little more responsibility, a little more money. And it allows me to free up a little bit of my time to where I can manage and not necessarily fill a position. So my goal is to not fill positions, but be there for support. And I think that's one thing most people lose sight of is you still need to be there for support. But if you're not delegating, if you're filling a position, you can't lead. I think that's one thing that I've been very conscious of. The best part of my schedule is my family's highly involved. My son and my wife are, they're in the businesses daily. They're a big part of it. So I don't not see my family working as much as I do. It's humbling that they're a huge part of it because we're doing this as a family. We're doing this together. And I think that's where our growth comes from because it really refuels us to be able to invest in each other and invest in the business and invest in the assets and invest in the community. And that's where the happiness comes from for me. So it's about, it refuels me. And I think that's one thing, I always tell people, it doesn't matter how many things you have going on in your life. If you're putting all your energy in all these cups, right? All these different things, the cups are the job, the business, the house, the family, the vacate, whatever, all these cups. If none of those cups are filling you back up, they're just draining you, right? You can have a couple of cups that don't fill you as long as it's something that you're investing in. But in life, you have to have things that refuel you back. And I think what refuels me is investing in my community and giving back selflessly and just all the people just humbling. It's humbling that when they come to you and they say, man, I'm just so proud that you have this. We're fortunate to have you in our community, to be a part of it is it's a huge part of this southern end is what we're creating and what we're investing in, what we're giving back. We're giving them what they want. We're giving them quality. We're giving them consistency. We're giving them service. And I think that's where we've separated ourselves because out here, you don't have to do that. This is the only store, but guess what? If I do that, those people are going to pass every other store coming home so they can see that smiling face, so they can be greeted with kindness. And that's what separates us from most other businesses.
Wonderful. Aristotle, I appreciate you breaking that down and kind of highlighting what the dynamic looks like. And I know you kind of breezed on this during the first part of the segment, but I want to kind of circle back around here. Are there any principles from your work that you found translate well when it comes to growing a family, raising a family? There are a lot of stark similarities between growing a business and raising a family. What are some of the principles you use during that transition?
I always say, don't give the rest of your life. Give them the best of your life, right? I say that often because I speak that about my family. Like, I'm not going to give them the rest of what I have. I'm going to give them the best of what I have, regardless of how much I work, regardless of how much I invest in myself and my team and my family and my business. I want to make sure that I'm not counting that out, because that's what refuels me. If you don't have your family, what are you working for? If you're not happy, what are you working for? Right? And a lot of people lose sight of that. I'm not working for money. I'm working to build something that makes me proud. And I think people lose sight of that, because I don't care about the money. I don't care about the paycheck. I care about creating and developing and overcoming and becoming. And I think that's where the passion comes from, is it's refueling me. So I'm going to be able to refuel the people around me. And I think that's one thing that I've been really good about, is being positive and being inspirational, because I have a dream and I want to share that dream with you. And I think if you have a dream, share it with us. We want to follow you. We want to support you. We want to invest in you. We want you to dream big too, because the goal is to believe in yourself, have a dream. That's the American way. That it's almost dead now. They almost make it seem like it's impossible. Like I said earlier, they'll give you a loan for college for $100,000, but they won't give you a $20,000 loan to start your own business. And I think that's backwards. That isn't the American dream. And I think we've lost sight of that. You know what I mean? And in all actuality, if people really focus on themselves and find something that makes them happy, that's where you find success. You find success in your heart. And if you wake up every morning with fire to go to work because you like it, that's where you're going to find success. If you wake up in the morning and you're upset and you're groggy and you're disappointed about going to work, guess what? It ain't going to work out for you. You know what I mean? You might want to change your plans, or your mindset, because you could have that job. But if you don't change your mindset because this job isn't going to get you to where you want to be, well, then you need to change how you do it, how you approach it. This is number one. I started my YouTube channel. I had 2 businesses running, bought a brand new one. I had to start my 3rd season this year. Now, I could have very easily not did it. I'm so damn busy, but guess what? I didn't sacrifice what I want to do for the stuff I'm already doing. And I think people lose sight of that. That's where my passion comes from. That's where my dream comes from. Investing in myself, believing and overcoming. If you invest in the dream, you will be happy, right? But I spoke on it earlier. If you don't fuel that car, if you don't fuel that dream, it's not going to go anywhere. That's why I did my season 3, regardless of how busy it was. Because for me, it's about investing in myself, which allows me to invest in other people. That's where my success comes from. So find happiness in your heart. That's where you'll find success. Success isn't based on money. Success is based on mindset. I changed my mindset a long time ago, and I'm still changing my mindset, because I want to be a better father. I want to be a better husband. I want to be a better leader. I want to be a better community involvement organizer, right? I want to be a better person for myself, because that's going to allow me to be better for my team, for my community, and for my family. And I think people need to focus on self-worth, self-improvement, because that's where you grow. And that's how you can share with other people. And that's where my success comes from.
Aristotle, thank you for unpacking that for us. And for our listeners, this is Aristotle's true passion. And so if you want to be inspired or be a part of that journey, go ahead and make sure you follow Redhead Bay Cafe. I normally do this at the end too, but be sure to check them out in Pungo. And if you're wondering, like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do in between, be sure to check out the Discover Virginia Beach Facebook group, because I make specific guides and resources about all the cool areas to check out. So we
have so many farm stands out here. We have so many community involved businesses. We have history out here that's like nowhere else in this area. We have generation after generation after generation of farmers that are still running the same farm stands with their kids and their grandkids and all the people locally. So what we have out here is a little bit different than the Northern Virginia Beach, because it's unique. It's very unique.
It's one of a kind.
It's historical. The roots are deep.
It feels like its own city for sure. Yeah.
It's definitely, people, because it's funny, they come to the restaurant, like, where are you from? Oh, we're from Virginia Beach. Well, we're still there.
I love it. So Aristotle, we touched on Redhead Bay Cafe, and I understand, you're growing your family, and you also growing your restaurant. And I understand, as you touched on before, you've opened up a new shop. And for those who haven't quite yet heard it yet, Blackwater Trading Post.
Yes.
If you're going to walk us through what led you to opening this shop up on top of everything else you're doing, and so what it is and what it has to offer.
It's funny because I didn't want another job. I work enough, but I was approached by my neighbors growing up. They actually owned Blackwater Trading Post, and they approached my wife and I and said, we want to sell you the business. And I said, look, I don't I don't need another job. They're like, but we want you because we've seen what you've done in the community. We've seen you bring back 2 failing businesses and make them thriving. And we want you to have the opportunity to take this business over and give the community what they want and what they need. And I think it was really humbling. It really made me feel super blessed about just the grind, because sometimes you don't see the outcome. Sometimes you don't see where you're going. And sometimes you don't see the work that's put in as rewarding. And, this is just a testament of believing in yourself and having a dream. That's the only reason I got this opportunity, because I stayed true to who I am, and I stayed true to giving back selflessly, and I stayed true to my commitment to the people and the business and the product. So it's pretty humbling to have the opportunity to buy this place. And we've been rocking, man. We've had an unbelievable response from the community. This place is mental over here, man. We got a gas station, a ice cream shop, a hot dog stand, a marina boat ramp. We got live bait, convenience store, gas, you name it. We got it out here. There's a lot of moving parts, but we're excited. We've been tying it all together, and we've been giving them what they want. And I think that's what people need to focus on. You got to give them what they want in order for them to come back, which is service, quality, consistency, and a smiling face. I think that always helps.
I love it. You love it. And for those of you who are listening just to the audio and can't see the video, I mean, Aristotle has some kayaking paddles behind him. I think he's got a cooler and some outdoor gear. So I appreciate you hanging out with me indoors for a little bit.
Beautiful.
So with that said, are there any other features of the Blackwater Trading Post that you want to highlight?
Man, our food, we have grab and go breakfast and lunch. We have breakfast burritos and breakfast croissants and biscuits, and they've been rolling, man. And for lunch, we do a grab and go, which is huge. We have this whole condiment station with mayonnaise and mustard and ketchup and ranch and barbecue sauce. We have pickles and lettuce and tomatoes and onions and pico and chili and cheese and relish. And so it's so cool because there's not many places you can go, get your product instantly, put whatever you want on it, and out the door. You're out the door in 5 minutes. The first article I read, well, I read a whole lot, but I did read an article before we bought the gas station about convenience stores, and they say people don't want to be there for more than 4 minutes. So my goal was to streamline the food where you could get quality food fast and not mess up your lunch break. And I think that's really, really working. And we've sold 1,600 cheeseburgers in 9 days for lunch. So it's been
good for you.
Yeah, it's pretty humbling.
Especially too, because it's not just and I want to highlight this because I understand it, but I definitely want to emphasize it's not just a gas station out in the middle of the country lane. I mean, you are going to your next stop, whether that's outdoor water activities, or I think you guys have fishing as well too.
Yeah, bank fishing and boat ramp.
Absolutely. Yeah. So there's just so much to do there. So that's just like the precipice of your adventure, starting out as grab and go food. So Aristotle, when it comes to fishing and exploring the outdoors, what are some of your favorite spots to go in the Virginia Beach area as a whole?
Just to be on the water, honestly. I mean, the Northwest River, which is the intercoastal, is what the Blackwater Trading Post is connected to. It goes wraps all the way around to Currituck Sound and into the Back Bay. I was born and raised on the Back Bay watershed. Redhead Bay Cafe is actually named after the closest bay on Back Bay, which is Redhead Bay. But yeah, the waterways around here, the fishing's great. Just to be able to boat and go to dinner or restaurants or stuff like that is really unique and really special. The landscape itself is just beautiful out here. We have, they call it the green sea, when all the cattails in the grass is waving in the sun and in the morning. And I think that is just a special place to be. That's why we've been able to grow exponentially down here, is because it's a simple way of life, but we work hard for it.
Wonderful. Well, I know unfortunately our conversation is coming to an end, Aristotle. I really enjoyed talking with you. I have a few rapid fire questions because in addition to all of your adventures and journey, you're also like a Bass Pro advocate and affiliate. Yeah. So I definitely want to dive into some specific things, so that way when people are coming to your restaurant and checking out the area, they have a little bit more context. So first question, rapid fire, give me your answer right away. Favorite dish at Redhead Bay Cafe? Man,
that one's hard, dude. Favorite dish? I'd probably go for a Benedict. I'm a Benny guy. I like backfin Benny. It's a great breakfast option. I like runny eggs. I love hollandaise. I'm a sauce guy, so it's definitely easy. That is my breakfast go-to. My lunch go-to would be like the Boom Boom shrimp tacos. Those things are fire, or the chicken Caesar wrap. So
wonderful. Now, second question, best bait to use when fishing in the Pungo area?
It just depends on what you're going for. Night crawlers are always universal. You can catch bass and catfish and perch and crappie and bluegill. So that's a really universal one, but it really just depends. I mean, a lot of people, if you're going bass fishing, it's a lot of fun to use artificial bait, topwater or worms or crankbaits or spinners. So it really just depends on what you're trying to target. What's cool about this body of water is it's brackish water. You can catch saltwater fish. You can catch freshwater fish. I mean, they catch drum and flounder and stripers along with bluegill and bass and perch all at the same place. So I think that's what's really special about where we live.
Love it. Love it. Now, a lot of our folks are tourists in the community. So if you could only pick one season to visit Virginia Beach, because we do have the 4 seasons, unlike a lot of other places, which season would you pick and why?
So my favorite season is the fall because you still have the warm weather, the ocean's warm. You don't have the hustle and bustle of this like summer society thing, which is kind of nice because it really allows you to enjoy what we have. It's really a little more sacred, a little more peaceful. And I think that's my favorite time of the year. The leaves start changing. It's almost hunting season, and that's one of it's my downtime too. After the summer, it's nice for us to unwind and really focus on the family. That's when we try to take a vacation together and really spend time with each other. So that's my favorite season.
Aristotle, I really appreciate your time. One final question for you. As a Bass Pro ambassador, it's no secret that you frequent the glorious halls of Bass Pro Shop, Cabela's, and all things outdoors. Can you share with us a few of those products you purchase on a consistent basis that help elevate your work and personal activities like hunting, fishing, and running your various businesses?
One of them, it's pretty much hunting and fishing stuff, or like outdoor cooking stuff. Those are my go-tos when I go there. I mean, they have everything you can think of, but I think the goal for me was to share my passion with the outdoors through my food. And I think that's one thing that really separates me is that my passion for the outdoors with cooking and hunting and fishing has really developed into my lifestyle and in my businesses. And I think that I can share my message with people through food. And I have people have a whole different feeling about hunting, but we're not, as a hunter, I'm not out there to just kill stuff. I'm out there to harvest stuff, and I'm out there to provide for my family and my friends. And my passion from cooking and developing dishes was made out of love for harvesting these things, taking pride in it, whether it's, from the field to the butcher, to the, because we do everything ourselves, to the packaging, to the table. And if we can have so much passion in something that we provide and share with people, I think people would have a whole different respect on hunting. So for us, it's about really sharing that passion with people. And Bass Pro and Cabela's have been a huge sponsor, a huge support for us. And I have a great ties with Green Top up in Richmond too. They've been huge supporters for all my outdoor stuff with kids and all that too. So I think that these local companies that are outdoor driven have really seen my passion for the outdoors and how it's developed into something even bigger where I can serve people through food. And that comes from my passion for the outdoors. And I think that's one thing that I like to share with people is like, look, you can't look at all hunters as a bad thing. For me, hunting is a place to really find my peace. When I shot a deer on the farm 2 years ago, I had my 4-year-old son come out there and he was blood trailing the deer. And when we get up to it, he lays down and he pets it and he says, thank you for feeding my family. And that's what I want to share with people. It's not about the kill. It's about the respect. It's about the empowerment of harvesting your own stuff and being able to deliver it and live off of it with your family. And that's what we're sharing from Outdoor Enthusiasts. And that's the message we want to give to you from Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's.
Love it. Love it. As we wrap up this very enlightening episode of Discover Virginia Beach, we'd like to extend a virtual red carpet to you, Aristotle, our esteemed guest. This is your moment to share any exciting products or services that you're currently working on. Is there anything special you'd like to feature or any final thoughts to leave our listeners with for today's conversation?
I mean, honestly, for me, it's not about anything that's happening with me. It's about sharing my mindset with you. And I think that's one thing that I really want to emphasize on is regardless of what you took out of my story today, I want you to understand that you have the same opportunity, that you have the same opportunities to grow and understand that in this society, it's not set up for you to think like this. And I think that I want to share with you it's mindset. And we touched base on that a lot. I don't care about the products. I don't care about what we have to offer, because for me, it's not about, I don't like to boast myself, but what I do like to do is share my mindset with people so they can try to pick up on that and just tweak theirs a little bit, because it takes time. It's just like anything else, you have to work on it. And it's how you react to things, and it's how you give, it's what you give energy to. And I think if people can focus on that, they will make their day better off, because things you can't control, there's no reason to give energy to. And I think that's one thing that's allowed me to really grow and focus on the things that I've done in life, is to control that energy output based on the return, which we talked about earlier with filling your cup.
Love it. Love it. Well, Aristotle, thank you for that. I will boast on you. If you're looking to learn more about Aristotle, definitely check out the show notes down below. We'll have links to all the socials. That brings us to the end of another insightful episode of Discover Virginia Beach. A big thanks to our wonderful guest, Aristotle Cleanthus, and to you, our dedicated listeners, for joining us on this journey. We hope you continue to explore Virginia Beach with us and look forward to sharing more exciting discussions with you. Be sure to tune in as we uncover more treasures of Virginia Beach on our podcast series, Beyond the Boardwalk. Thank you and take care.